Okay, so I'm John Roberts. I am the Master Gardener Coordinator for Orange County, and I've been here for a year now, so I've kind of gone through and seen the system. I, you guys would be the first group that I will be going through in terms of the full process of selecting and teaching, um, and so this is exciting. You guys are in this with me here. So anyway, introduction to the program. So I just want to talk about extension and what we are first. We're part of Orange County Extension, but we're also a partnership between the state government and local county governments. And almost every county in the country has an extension program of some sort. And I guess we are a more urban county, so it kind of has different implications, like in different concerns for places, you know, how we help people with their lives. But the big thing for around here is residential stuff. So, but anyway, this goes all the way back to, I think, the Morrill Act, which was in the 1960s, that established the land grant universities, the land grant system. And so these partnerships were extended, I think, through the Hatch Act, which was in 1912, and basically said that the counties would have these extensions set up through the state university system to do a lot of the education on a more local level, so that people are available, like on the ground, and they wouldn't have to go all the way to the state universities to get access to this type of information. So that's where we're at, and that's why I'm technically considered faculty. All of the extension agents here are considered faculty of the University of Florida, but we're simultaneously also employed by the county. So it's an interesting system, and it works pretty well. And if you all go on to become Master Gardener Coordinators, or Master Gardeners, pardon me, you will go on to be further extension. You'll be part of this system in terms of assisting the public and providing a service to the folks that like live within the communities in Orange County, our communities. So this is just a quick breakdown here, because the state is so large, it's divided up into different sections, and we're almost directly in the middle here of the central region. But this is how we're broken up into extension, these different regions of the state. And it all kind of revolves around Gainesville. So Gainesville, we take all our orders from them. So as an extension agent, what do? I guess the main thing is that we do education. We're here to educate the public. We're here to help them, and I think the official motto of the extension service for University of Florida IFAS is to solutions for your life. And so we're here to try and promote people making their lives better. And we do this largely through trying to get that information out there. So a lot of this you'll see on this list is, obviously sometimes we have to get directives and see what the community, you know, what people want within the places that we serve. But then from there, we need to communicate with them. So a lot of this is it's communications. And then, you know, we're involved with a lot of the other professionals that do what we do as well. We work with a lot of them, and we collaborate a lot on our given trade. So there's other things that encompass what we do here besides just horticulture. There is family and community sciences here. there is also 4-H. So these are other programs that are pretty big. They've got their own volunteers, but they kind of encompass different aspects of trying to make people's lives better. So, which brings us to, how did we get here? How did Master Gardener programs become a thing? Well, as we were, I was talking about that extension kind of started out more towards agriculture, but we have to think about how to serve people in urban areas. And the original agents that were urban horticulture agents, if you guys could mute yourselves, there's a lot of activity going on a couple of these here, so it's just try and be cognizant if you're unmuted right now. So anyway, the history of these urban horticulture agents in 1973, they started to reach out and decide that they had a big job that a lot of people, that homeowners, could also handle in terms of getting out there and trying to promote the missions of what extension does. So they weren't sure how it was going to work at first. They thought that they weren't sure if homeowners could take on a lot of these tasks for like helping educate other homeowners. They gave it a shot and it rapidly took off, and then all sorts of states started copying this program. So yeah, I guess originally it was up in Tacoma, Washington is where it started at. And then other states copied, and Florida we started our program in 1979. So this is just something to always keep in mind here, is like, what is the mission of the Master Gardener Volunteer Program? Providing research-based horticultural education to Florida residents. That's what my job is. So it's just lining up that you guys are here to help me out, like to help get to the public and extend this mission. And the vision to be the most trusted resource for horticultural education in Florida. And because of the fact that like we're trying to base everything off of science, we're trying to base everything, and we have a lot of state specialists to refer to and get our information from. It's pretty. We're in a good position to keep that vision up as well. So I guess the big thing is that like this program, is pretty successful. We have really nice facilities here. We have pretty big numbers in terms of bringing people into the plant clinics and helping serve the public. But we're, in order to do everything that we do here, we're very dependent on bringing up new folks into the program and keeping that lifeblood up and keeping the overall numbers pretty high here. We've got 1.4 million people in the program, or I mean, in the county, and we need. I'm one agent, and one agent doesn't get very far in terms of helping the needs of that many people. So your assistance is greatly appreciated, and I get, your neighbors like are very appreciative of your assistance as well when you come in here, as you will see. So some perks of the Master Gardener Volunteer Program is you get access to university level educational resources for basically just the cost of the printed material. Support in your gardening endeavors. So you're coming and being part of a community here, fellow gardeners, and like the agents, me, and like the the other master gardeners will be here to help you out with everything that you're doing. And then also, it's just nice to help out with everything that's going on in your community as well. And so what do Master Gardener volunteers do? Help run the plant clinic. So that's where my office is. I'm actually in it right now. And we get a lot of traffic through here. We get a lot of people that come in with their plant problems. Not just plant problems, they'll bring in all sorts of stuff that you wouldn't even imagine. So I don't want to scare you off at this point, but there's a lot of insect related stuff though too. So then they help maintain the exploration garden here. It's a garden with the educational purposes of trying to show what all is on the table in terms of planting in the Central Florida environment. So we have another garden that we maintain as well near the Orange County admin building, which is like in downtown Orlando area. And then represent the organization at public events. There's all sorts of events every weekend, almost pre-COVID times. We needed people to go out and be like have tables or taking out a clinic, a mobile clinic that we have, and just answering questions and being a face for the organization. They teach the presentations, and they also assist with other forms of media, like coming up with like either written forms of media and sometimes even videos and stuff like that online. They collaborate with other organizations, government entities, and businesses with similar missions of servicing the public. So, I mean, just obvious ones here are like schools and libraries. But anyone who reaches out to us will pretty much try and assist them, and that's partly what the Master Gardeners are here for. Another thing that comes to mind is community gardens. So, you know, a lot of times a Master Gardener will adopt a community garden, and they'll provide guidance fairly exclusively. They'll be our liaison, so to speak, to that community garden. So expectations for the program, this is a big one. You know, coming here, you've got to be able to have some time available and like to continue your time in the program. Each year you're evaluated based on this number of hours. So 75 hours of volunteer service for the first year. 40 of those hours for the first year have to be within the plant clinic. And then it drops significantly after the first year, because you've kind of shown that like this 75 hours are basically part of your education. This is going to be the hands-on side of your education. And then it drops a lot to 50 hours your second year, and then it drops 5 hours per year until you get to your fifth year, and then it remains at 35 hours per year. So I just wanted to I know that Janie's going to cover a lot of this as well, but this is the application checklist. We all want you here, and so we just want to make sure that you know what you need to have in order to submit your application and be a part of the program. You have to be an Orange County, Florida resident. You got to turn in the full application, which includes 3 references, a copy of your photo ID, and $175 for your class fee. And you will be reimbursed if you not make it into this year's class. So Jenny will go into more detail with all of that and some of the other stuff that I kind of covered here, but I'm going to pass it off to her now. And you're still muted too, Jenny.
Now I'm unmuted, I believe.
You're good.
Okay, just a second. Now I've lost my, there we go. All right. All right, can you see it?
You're good.
Yes? Okay. So welcome everybody, and I'm excited that I can be a part of this. I've kind of worked with many of the classes. I myself joined in 2017, and it's an amazing opportunity. I just want to say that I did not expect to have such a wonderful opportunity with this. I've made all kinds of friends, and the amount that you can learn is incredible. So I do really want, I want you to consider it. I would say that the benefits are well beyond anything I imagine. And what we want to talk a bit about now is how can I become a master gardener? These are things that I want you to know I feel have happened. I harvested like-minded friends. And you know, y'all have friends, but if you notice this, those of us that love plants, if you run into another plant lover, you'll find yourself able to talk for hours. So it's really important. I was in the plant clinic one day working, and one of the agents brought in termites, and everybody was just going crazy. And I thought how funny it is that we're so excited because we have termites that we can look at. So it's just fun to work with folks who enjoy plants like you. But the information that we learn is all research based. This is, we are discouraged in using old remedies and, you know, the tips that have been passed down to us. We have the vast educational resources of the University of Florida and other land grant colleges at our fingertips. And it is amazing to have that support. The other thing is we learn ways to give back to nature and the community. These are, you know, just something in my yard, which makes me feel good every time they bloom. And then we do have a partnership with Head Start. And I have to tell you, if you ever consider doing this, I worked with 60 little ones over at one of the schools that I had, which is 3 classes. And these little guys could not get enough. So it's just really exciting, the kinds of things that will come along your way through the Master Gardener program. So the other thing is we want to thank you. I think John hit on this, but we depend on folks like you and those that are willing to share your time and learn new skills. There's no way this program could be successful without all the master gardeners and the willingness to give up their time. And so please know it is recognized and sincerely appreciated, not just by your partners and your colleagues in your classes, but also by the staff and folks who work here. This is the mission statement. I think that John touched on it. Remember, a mission statement wants to help you define who you are and where you're headed. And we assist extension agents in providing, again, research-based education to Florida residents. And that is the key thing to always remember. We come back to education. So what you want to know is, how do we get started? So let's see if we can figure this out. Now, pre-COVID, and I know you all are sick of it, and so am I. However, this is what we would be experiencing if we could do this in the way that we have prior to the pandemic. We met together as a large group. We had some introductions. We went out and visited the grounds, and I'm going to give you a little bit of that in a minute. And then we all came back here and we sat at tables with master gardeners and other candidates for the master gardener program. And it was very exciting because we could all share our thoughts in small groups. So, however, we can't do that now. So, one of the things that we always did was a tour of the gardens. And I have to tell you this, we are so fortunate. You will come into a setting that is one of the most beautiful that you probably will encounter in many of the counties. We were and have been very well supported by the county. And we have, I think, amazing facilities. Our working areas, the plant clinic and the buildings we're in are large and spacious with windows and welcoming. And yes, now they have COVID compliant practices also. And outside, we have the gardens. And I just kind of wanted you to have a minute. This is, if you've not gone to the gardens, they are open to the public again, hooray. And you can walk through during business hours. This is a kind of like a little board with some information that is there as you kind of enter. And then we have a formal garden, a pergola area, a pollinator garden, a trial garden, and the trial garden, I don't have a picture of it, but this is where we work with new varieties that the growers are trying to determine. They have been bred to survive the Florida rain and heat and bugs and everything. And so they see, gosh, well, do they really work? And it's a very fun kind of thing. We have vegetable gardens, flowering tree garden, and there's a tree walk with other kinds of trees. With I guess, the last hurricane, big one, we lost a lot of trees, but the tree walk is coming back. And then we also have a succulent garden. And those of you that are novices, succulents are something, as long as you don't water them very much at all, you can grow them. And then there is a rain garden. So the first gardens that we will come to is the formal gardens. And if you look at this, it looks very, very manicured. The maintenance for a formal garden is high. So you'll notice that that's the first one that we have. And this is the kind of gardens you will see in many formal settings. There's an entrance off the formal garden, which is a pergola, and there are vines and different kinds of plants, depending on the time of year, that are all over here typically. We have pollinator gardens, and if you look closely, there's one of our little pollinator friends. Truly, the bees are our friends. They are not out to get us. They're really intent on their work. We have a variety of blooming plants in the pollinator gardens, and we love the color. So you will see all that in the pollinator gardens. And then we have vegetable gardens. I wish that mine would look like this. However, we are coming into the seasons and for the warm season plant crops. But you can see here what we have out there. That's one example. There are varieties of different kinds of vegetables and plants in the vegetable garden area. Then this is the walkways, and there are many mulched walkways that we can use. It's sometimes just a peaceful thing to do if you have an opportunity, because you can't help but feel good when you're done. So these are different kinds of flowering trees that are in the flowering trees garden. And then there are the taller trees, all around, again, that you can walk in behind us, there's another agricultural area. So it's a very pastoral and attractive setting. This, I call it the outside classroom. This is a covered area, obviously, and there were picnic tables in there, and some of the classes, when we could have them, were held out there, and it's really a really pretty place to go. Sometimes folks eat their lunch and things out there, but it's also on the grounds. Next to the buildings, there are shade gardens, and this is just one example of caladiums. And you know that everything is kind of fading now, but the caladiums continue next to the buildings. So there's different ones. There's camellias. There's a variety of shade plants that will come during the season near the building. And this is outside often, between our buildings and the entrance to the garden. So, I don't know. I'll get rid of that. Okay. So what do we do in COVID-19 times? We've been, struggling with this for a while, and we're very excited that we think we've got the pieces and parts together. So here's how we envision it. It's going to be a virtual gathering using Zoom. And I'm sure most of you are at least familiar with the word if you haven't done much work on it. We are using Zoom right now. As John mentioned, each county has their own Master Gardening program. So this county is Orange County, and we must be an Orange County resident. We are going to partner with 2 other counties for some of our sessions, and that is Seminole and Osceola counties. There will be 20 class members selected from Orange County. So all of you will be narrowed down to approximately 20. The key thing to know is you are not expected to be a horticulturist, and you are not expected to have extensive horticulture knowledge. You will learn it, and at first it seems somewhat intimidating, but it's amazing the information that we will be given access to. We anticipate this class starting in January of 2021. So, what are the key points? There is an application that is a standard application. It will be downloadable, and you will be sent the link. So take a look at it, and you'll want to complete it. Be prepared. There's some things there, and I mention these because I wasn't quite aware of some of them, so I want to be sure you know. Of course, we've improved that since then. The application asks for 3 references, and we need the best way and time to contact them if at all possible, because as you can imagine, we want to give everyone who turns in their application a fair opportunity, and we will need to speak to these folks, and all of them are contacted. So do be thinking in advance.
Vem lugar, Luisa. Vem lugar. Luisa.
There is a need for a photo ID, either driver's license or passport or whatever document you have that you use as that is an accepted photo ID. Okay, there is a fee for the class of $175, which covers class materials. And if you are not selected to be a part of this particular class, that money is returned to you. The fee is required to be paid at the time the application is submitted. So that is why we want to make sure that you know that your money will be returned if something happens. The way the fee can be paid is by exact cash, because we don't have change making process. A check or money order made out to the University of Florida for $175, or you can use a credit card. And we're not exactly sure. In the past, we have used Eventbrite. That is what University of Florida typically has us use. So when you use a third-party application, there is a service fee, as you know. Eventbrite charges an additional $12.29 on their application. So that comes out to about $189.29. The link is here, and that is also on the information you will get with the application. And I have to remind you again, we cannot accept the application without the payment. The deadline is October 2nd by 5 p.m. And it typically does need to be turned in person. There is a receptionist at the extension office that can assist with this process. And I know many of you are not frequenting a lot of interior spaces. And so, but this is the way it has been done. And with the transfer of money, we want to make sure that was done that way. Don't get ready yet, there's still more. There will be a background check on all candidates, and there will be an interview on all candidates. That interview will be with John, our agent, and probably with another master gardener. If you are accepted, one of the ways you know is you will receive a syllabus and the class schedule. You will be notified, and this will occur after all of the interviews and all of the background checks and the references. All of that information has been compiled. We are planning on the classes meeting virtually via Canvas for the didactic sessions, and Zoom, which will be more of an interactive session. The lectures are going to be online with Canvas and self-guided, which will mean you don't have, previously, one thing we've struggled with is folks had to have a full day available to devote to this for about 3 months. And that's difficult if you're working full time. So what now will happen is that the lectures will be online and you can choose when you watch them. These Zoom meetings will be established at a periodic time and try to be at a time that most folks will be able to attend. And in that this will be just our class and with activities and information. Only one Zoom absence will be permitted if you are enrolled in the class. I want you all to know how many of our instructors are professors from the University of Florida, and they are experts in their field, and their information is generally just about the newest that's out there. So I feel very fortunate that we have this at our fingertips. One of the other requirements of the program is we ask everyone to create a presentation on a topic of their choice. And if you need some suggestions, John can give you some suggestions. The presentation will last approximately 10 minutes. And we do stick to the time frame so that we can, nobody feels too intimidated and we can be sure to get everybody in. There will be a final exam, and we'll go into details on that later. And there will be a celebration. Somehow we have to celebrate. We're hoping maybe some of the restrictions will be lifted by the time the classes are all completed. You do do earn continuing education and volunteer hours. And in the class, that some of the master gardeners who have completed the course also do attend, and they will now do that virtually, just to refresh their skills and to keep their knowledge fresh. So that pretty much covers it. And I'm wondering if you have any questions. John?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Fran Betcher. Hello, everyone. The question I have, it's actually two-part question. One is, how many applications do you generally receive every year for the Master Gardener program? And two, what do you base your evaluation of the applications on?
Let me see. Is John there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can't really answer the first one because I haven't had to go through the whole application process. I don't know what is typical. I think it's kind of about what we've got right now, where there's probably maybe more than 50 applications, and then like they typically accept about 25 or so. Last year they had 25, so I think that's what you're looking at here. Any other comments, Janie? Anything else?
It's been my experience that every year there's been, we might have 70 folks. I believe the last orientation in 2019, we had approximately 70 folks that attended. And then for reasons, other reasons, whatever, not all completed an application and not all applications were accepted. And as far as what it looks, there's not any, we're looking for folks who have, I believe John is looking for folks who have, a sincere interest in helping and who have free time so that they could, support the program and the agency. And folks, it does require a bit of interaction with, the community and classrooms. So folks who are not too intimidated by working in groups, but there's not a particular requirement. And the number of activities are so varied, or at least have been prior to this, that you can usually find something. If you don't really want to be someone teaching a class or working in a certain area, there are, we have a library, we have things where we need, documents created. We need that. There's just a whole variety. And one of our biggest areas is our festival, where we have a plant sale. And so just helping out with any of the particular kinds of activities that are going on with the extension, give you, can give you the hours you need. And there is a variety to suit most personalities. I don't know if that helps you, Frank.
Yes, it does, because obviously it's proper protocol to give our references a heads up, and they're going to ask questions relative to the candidate they're recommending, and so you've provided some guidelines. Thank you.
Okay, I'm getting some questions on here, and they're kind of asking about the application process. And the questions about the references are they character references or gardening references? The answer here is that they're more for character references. Like we're not too worried about where you're at in terms of your gardening abilities right now. Like that's part of why you're here, is you're going to be learning all of that. We're just trying to make sure that you're a good fit for the program. And I mean, just people that are close to you. It can be family members and friends. Like that's that's probably where you want to go for this type of stuff. Or even coworkers, if you feel confident that, like, you know, that they know you pretty well. So yeah, just, it's more for character though. Yeah, with the application, when you're done with it, if you want to just fill it out, I guess the question is, where does the application get sent to? And the application will, if you can either print it out and bring it here in person in your payment, or you can just do it all online as well, and just make sure to email us. And so the address, so it will be Orange County Extension. Let me type it out here for you guys.
But you're going to send this information via email to us, right? The link
Yeah,
to the
I'll be able
application?
to send it off like via email as well. So, and I mean, it's on our website where we're located and everything as well. But yeah, if there's any other questions, go ahead and bring them up right now.
I think one of the key things to remember is that the payment of the fee accompanies the application. And the application is typically not accepted without the fee. That's not necessarily our reasoning. That's because that's the way the process works. And it is a statewide, the Master Gardener program, you know, is in all the counties statewide. There is a state county leader, Wendy Wilbur, whose job it is to try to, you know, bring some consistency and unity to all the counties.
Okay, I'm getting some more questions here.
I like the chat box. I can't find it.
Let's see. One person's asking, how much hands-on experience besides answering questions the plant clinic can we look forward to? So there's still the gardens here, and then there's also your interactions with other gardens, other, like the, you know, like the, and that extends to the community gardens and school gardens and that type of thing as well. So there's all sorts of hands-on activities if you're willing to go out and make them. So at what point one becomes a master gardener? After the final exam, or is it after the first year? I mean, really, like after the first year, I think I mean, there's two different ceremonies. Like you do become a master gardener volunteer after you make it through the class, but there's a ceremony that as well. The first year is, I mean, I think it's just like you become re-official. It's a bigger deal after the first year. I mean, was that your impression, JD, or?
Yes, I was just going to say, I was, you know, a part of the class of 2017 in as far as the teaching goes. That was my educational year. But I was, and during that time, you're essentially called a trainee. They put that on your name badge. And then after that, after you've completed your 75 hours in your year, you then become an official Master Gardener volunteer. So the year you have to, essentially, you're kind of doing like a year internship, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So you'll be treated like when you're going through the program. Typically, you would be doing the classes, and you would be a trainee throughout that period, and you would still be here volunteering and helping out. But you're being trained, but yeah, your first year is kind of, that's kind of your apprenticeship in a sense as well.
Right.
So I'm getting some more questions. Like how long is the class going to last? The classes last for approximately 12 weeks. We haven't finalized the schedule yet, but it will end sometime in March. Let's see. Yeah, there's some questions about money. Like you can bring your application stuff in here. Is there any kind of work to be done in the garden clubs, Bromeliad groups, etc.? Not really. Those are considered to be other places to like be a member of. You can still get continuing education in some of these places if you go see some of the speakers from them. But I mean, you kind of have to. We can talk about that in more detail on like from group to group. We have some volunteers that also volunteer at Lou Gardens. Like there used to be a plant clinic there that was through the Orange County, a partnership with them. When they were there for that plant clinic, they would get volunteer hours for this organization. But if they're volunteering for other organizations, if they were doing something directly for Lou Gardens, like giving garden tours or something like that, it's technically within that organization's, I guess their own volunteering system. So that's just something to keep in mind. We can't really like double dip in certain ways. So
I think it's also good to know that we are to be a resource. It wouldn't be appropriate for someone or a group, let's say an extended care facility or something, who wanted to have their gardens weeded. That's not a master gardener's task, and we don't expect our folks to do that. We would be very happy to help them set up, how they can keep it from having weeds and that kind of thing. But I do want you to know you're not expected to be the laborers, although here at the extension itself in our gardens, we do that, but that's for our benefit and our learning.
Okay.
I think since I'm screen sharing, I can't see the chat box. So
you can't see the chat? I'm trying to answer some of the stuff in there too, and I'm bringing it up as things get brought up in here. What question is like, who conducts the interviews? I conduct the interviews, and I'm assisted by there will be at least 2 other folks helping me out through the interviews. They might not everyone might be there at all times, but there'll be me and a couple other master gardeners and a couple of the master gardeners in the program.
Oh, I got it.
So I think that's every, unless there's any more questions. Okay. If I decide to pursue the degree required for state certifications in landscape architecture, would this course be considered for credit hours in any way? Unfortunately, no. It's not really. This course, even though the material that is covered is, I would consider to be on an undergraduate level. We're not evaluating you on that level. We're not making you go through nearly as much as the rigors with exams and that type of thing. And that's partly because we understand that like you'll be volunteering and you'll be learning a lot of this while you're here on like in the clinic. A lot of it's going to be hands-on type learning through time. So it's not, and so it's, even though like the content is university level, it's not that we can go out and like, we're not granting a degree. It's just it's just more or less like it's a certificate, so that you're in, that you are a master gardener at that point. So
did we address the question about creation of articles, social media outreach, and other media?
Let me see. I think I might have put something up, but yeah, that's an expectation that I would like a lot of you to contribute in that way, like developing media, and I mean that's how we get all this information out there. So definitely. Will calls for references come from a specific number? Not necessarily. Like it's going to be split up between me and a couple of different master gardeners, so we'll probably be using multiple numbers for that. So seminar orange or one joint group session is a question. Well, we will be having individual Zoom sessions for the county each week, but the content that you guys will be getting will all be the same. Seminole County, Orange County, and Osceola counties will all be covering the same material at the same time, and the units will all be, the curriculum will be the same. More like there will be some small deviations. We have some things that we have to treat or to train you on that are specific, from a county to county basis. But for the most part, it will be us. We'll have the classes. It'll be all the counties are on the same page, but we'll have our individual breakout Zoom sessions each week as well for each county. So, okay, calls for, yeah, okay. So with that, if I'm going to shoot everybody an email with the application material and a checklist, and you can bring it here in person. You can drop it off in person, and I'll pick it up. Or if you want to do it all online, that's an option too. We're currently we're using Eventbrite, but if I can somehow find something else that doesn't charge nearly as much, I'm open to that too. And I'm going to try and ask a few people. And so I'll let you know if something else comes up besides Eventbrite. So, but outside of that, I guess, is there anything else, Janie?
I don't think so. Do you all feel like you've got what you needed? Anybody have any other questions?
All right. Well, good deal. Thank you all for being here on this Friday afternoon. And I hope you all are staying safe, stay well, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from more of you soon here. So take care.
Thank you, and thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.